Okay, well, let's hear the story, because you and I did a podcast a long time ago, and I was just recording them on the phone, but not since we've been doing video. So what's your background? What was your career, and how did Silence Your Shop become a thing?
You know, it really sort of started by accident. I was a computer programmer for just over 20 years.
You don't look like a nerd. That's surprising. Dave Matheny. Most innovative person in firearms, if you ask me. In fact, I've said that on other podcasts. Thomas? No, Thomas doesn't remember our podcast.
Okay.
So, Silencer Shop. You guys have done so many awesome things for our industry, and I'm very grateful, besides selling lots of silencers that make me money. So what's going on with you?
You know, I mean, this year, I think the whole year has kind of been defined by e-forms, right? It's the promise of 90 days, and that didn't get delivered on. Now we're up to like 7 months, which is still shorter than paper, but it's a disappointment over what people expected, right?
It's hoping, ridiculous.
That's right. I agree.
I've said it before when, how old am I? Almost 50 now. So 30 years ago, the paper forms where they had to do it on like the microfiche, go look the stuff up, it was 60 days for a Form 4. Yeah. And now it's all automated, and it's 7 months. Is that what you're saying it is?
Yep, 7 months.
Jesus Christ.
We expect that to start going down this month, but just because right now they're so focused on paper forms, which for whatever reason, they want to get the paper forms caught up to last December. Once they do, they're going to go back to e-forms. Right now, they're hardly approving any at all.
We should punish people that are still using paper. Like, go green. What the hell's wrong with everything?
No, they're focused on paper from before e-forms launched. So they're still they're trying to get paper caught up to last December.
Do you think this is intentional that they don't fund the NFA branch?
You know, I think ATF is using this as a funding grab, I guess.
Oh, so they're slowing everything down so all of our congressmen and senators will complain, and they'll be like, oh, we need more money because we need more people.
That's my suspicion. And I think Department of Justice has told them they have to approve forms in 90 days. And now they were originally, now they're not. I think they're going to go to Department of Justice and ask for more money without even going through Congress.
When they told them they had to, like, what's the punishment if you don't? Like, what's the consequence?
I don't think there is one.
That's a problem with regulatory. No one has a consequence.
Yeah.
Like, if I tell you, Dave, when you go home, you better take your trash out.
Yeah.
I'll tell your wife. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. I think it's the problem with regulatory. There's no like individual consequence. Like, people aren't held accountable, and that sucks, because I understand, when we talk about OSHA, like a need for it at some point, or EPA, but not having a consequence for people not doing their work or abusing power, it's horrible.
And these agencies kind of take on a life of their own, and it's not just ATF. It's all of them, right?
TSA is my least favorite right now. Fucking, I mean, that's the problem we were talking about last night. 9/11. That's how we really lost. Like TSA, like I still got, having to take my shoes off, and then a guy patting my junk, and then asking me if it's. I told you last night. Yeah. Asked me if I had any sensitive areas right there, and I was like, yeah, my dick.
But don't you feel safer? I mean, I feel safer.
He was unwilling to even pat my dick after he said you have something there. So I had a dick bomb or what? I don't know. No, I don't feel safer. I feel like it's ridiculous, and I mean. Regulatory. It's like, let's create jobs for people that are too lazy to have real jobs.
There you go.
No. I mean, not ATF. You guys are totally cool and awesome, and we need you. But TSA, I'd like to kick them right in the junk.
That's
like,
right.
Really, at this point? I mean, we saw right after 9/11, there was even a CSI episode about it. Some steroid freak that was doing coke and then drinking on a plane, like, got up and tried to kick the cabin door in, and like all of the other passengers, they grabbed that dude and stepped on his throat till he was dead.
Right.
Do we need TSA now? Now we have a whole bunch of moms that are willing to kill someone if they act up on a plane. That's all we need. That's way better than TSA.
Yeah.
Like taking union breaks and, X-raying your luggage, which is, because I know most of our employees don't listen to the podcast, so some of them are about to go to Africa with me. And speaking of TSA, this is what they're good for. And I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there, and I hope everyone else does this. You should do this to Elliot when you guys travel. So I'm going to get like a giant dildo, and I'm going to wrap it in tinfoil. And whoever is unlucky when we're about to go through TSA that has to go take a pee, I'm going to sneak it into their carry-on and put it through, and they're going to, come back from taking a pee and put it on the little, the X-ray and send it through there, and then they're going to have to, hey, we have to check your luggage. And they're going to pull that thing out in front of all of us. That's what TSA is good for. Thanks for the jokes and good times, all right? Fuck you otherwise.
Just throw a battery in there, turn it on right before it goes through the X-ray machine.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm no expert in, sexual exploit, but I think that's called a vibrator, Dave.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
But somebody on this next trip, Thomas, is totally getting the aluminum foil dildo in the TSA. Like, I'm so irritated with TSA constantly that anything I can do to hassle them, I'm doing it. Yeah. Because they hassle me every time. It's like, what am I doing? Like, I even wear a belt with a plastic buckle for you guys.
That's right.
I don't even carry a pocket knife anymore because I lost so many of them in going through security at the airport. I mean, yeah, so 9/11, that's where they were successful. They affected my daily life and the quality of my daily life because I travel so much.
But it's so effective. I mean, there are so many stories of people going through with guns. I've gone through with a knife myself. You've gone through with a gun.
Oh, yeah. I mean, let's tell the world.
Yeah, sorry. My bad.
Two times. And I will say this. So 2 times I've gone through with a gun. One time I was arrested. And, which, big whoop. And I kind of feel like if you've never been arrested, you are not living up to your potential.
That's right.
Are you really living? But the second time, I remembered there was a gun in my bag, my carry-on, when I was on the plane and we were in the air. I was like, oh my God! I'm totally going to prison. I felt so guilty. But then it was like, well, fuck them. They didn't do their job. So anyway, I didn't get arrested for that one. No one ever found out. Until now. But so it's happened to me twice. One time I got arrested. One time I flew with the gun, and I gave it to whoever I was going to see when I got there.
Nice.
Which may or may not have been one of your employees. I'm not saying. But
hey, I'm sure they appreciated it.
Yeah, it was a Diamondback 380, so I'm not sure how much they appreciated it. But anyway, so okay. Well, let's hear the story, because you and I did a podcast a long time ago, and I was just recording them on the phone, but not since we've been doing video. So what's your background? What was your career, and how did Silencer Shop become a thing?
It really sort of started by accident. I was a computer programmer for just over 20 years.
You don't look like a nerd. That's surprising.
Man, I tell you, the funny thing is I worked so much, and I sat in a cubicle, and I was the guy who just wrote code and didn't talk to anybody. And I feel like I could barely have a conversation with anybody at that point, because it's like you're just not used to talking.
It's so funny to me because, you are a nerd, but, Ethan's a nerd to me, And it's, 2 of my favorite people. Both of you are hilarious. Ethan and I had dinner with you last night, and you guys left before us because Ethan and I went to take a pee. And we're walking up the stairs, and Ethan's like, isn't Dave funny as fuck? And I was like, he's so hilarious. And most people would never know it.
Yeah.
So you're sitting in this cube.
Yep.
You're doing nothing. And then you have a kid, and she's like, yo, my man, get out of this cube.
So, yeah. Actually, Hallie was not on board with it. So it's a...
Sometimes women, and when I say sometimes, most of the time they're right.
That's right. So we've got this son that was born deaf in his left ear.
Yeah.
And, I was taking him hunting, a little ADD kid. He probably had to be, call it 10 years old. And he'd bounce off the walls, wouldn't wear the muffs. We were worried about the hearing in his good ear, right?
You guys just met mine, like that.
Yeah. So I got a silencer. I don't know if you remember Major Malfunction. Bought a silencer from Major Malfunction.
Yeah, I kissed his... Well, never mind.
Yeah. And that part of it went great. Transferred it to a local dealer who sort of helped with the paperwork, but then went out of business during the wait process. The whole thing was a mess. I actually cornered him at his storage unit. Right? And that's how I got my silencer. It was pure luck, right? I almost didn't get it at all.
How'd you find out about a storage unit?
I had it was a lot of tracing him down and figuring out where he was, and it was a lot of luck too, right? So I got the silencer, And then I thought, okay, I'm going to go to somebody more reputable. That was actually an M4 2000, my first can.
Oh,
yep.
Thank you, and you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. So it's so the second can, I decided to go to a more established dealer.
So thought you were about to say manufacturer.
No,
Jesus.
No. AAC can again. I got a Prodigy as the second one.
Oh, nice.
So it's I went. Man, I tell you, the guy would not help me at all with the paperwork. Refused to even offer assistance.
So many people in our industry. I mean, there's lots of reasons I have love for Silencer Shop, but the idea of a lot of new companies and guys that didn't inherit this industry from their fathers or whatever, our industry sucks.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff was so common when I was young too, So for that to spawn Silencer Shop is wonderful because people don't understand now, but it used to be you go to a gun store, and if they didn't know you, they hated you and acted like you were a burden, and they're doing you a favor by selling you something.
It's like you had to prove your street creds. When you walked into a gun store, you had this conversation of like proving that you knew what you were talking about before they'd really even sell you anything, right?
With the fat old gun store owners that were... Yeah, special operator in the Niagara Falls area.
Yeah, that's
idiots. Right. I hated them. Ugh.
So anyway, we launched Silencer Shop.
So you did it as a result of having two experiences that sucked.
They were really bad.
And you're working your day job?
Yes. Honestly, for the first year and a half, I was still working at VMware. Right.
What's VMware?
VMware it's a tech company. Any tech person will have heard of it. Anybody who's not a tech person will not have.
Okay. Well, so you worked at other companies as well within
tech. Yeah. I worked at Intel. I worked at AMD. I was always a low level like BIOS firmware guy.
Yeah. Sure.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you start this. So for a year and a half, you're doing both, and your wife's telling you you're an idiot.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's and then we had after about 6 months, we hired a full-time employee working in our house, right? Because it got.
Oh, so you made her really happy.
Yeah, that's right. After a year, he quit because it was too corporate. And I'm like, you're in my living room. My wife makes you a smoothie every day for lunch. How could this be too corporate, right? It was actually that was pretty crazy.
Millennials.
There you go.
Well, okay. Well. So you started this. So you bought silencers because you had a son that was deaf in one ear, and he wanted to hunt.
That's right.
So you're worried about his good ear.
That's right.
That makes sense. Okay,
yeah.
That's responsible parenting.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. It's it's been a good move, and after the year and a half, I quit my job. And
Wait. Has it been a good move? Let's ask the wife. You sure? Is it because you're in charge now? Is Dave happier?
Yeah, he is.
Are you guys happier? You have more money now? Yes. Nicer house than when you were in a cube? Well, I don't know. I mean, I think both you guys are lucky, but Dave is funny and no one would know it.
Yeah, he's really funny.
He's always been funny, he just low-key hides it?
Yeah. That's why I fell in love with him.
Oh, really? Yeah. You fell in love with him because he was funny? Yeah, it definitely wasn't his looks.
Yeah, no.
Your son was half deaf. She's half blind.
That's right. It runs in the family.
Yeah, genetics. What a motherfucker. I mean, that's awesome to hear. So have you ever, or do you want to take this opportunity to tell him he was right and you were wrong?
You were right. I'm sorry.
Of course.
I'm not sure either of those were sincere. But hey, take your victories where you can get it.
That's right.
I mean,
and it's
clearly,
on camera now, so we're good.
I know everything about women. I'm an idiot with women, but that's a pretty cool story, though. I mean, to me, it's endearing to me that she thinks you're being a dumbass, but she still supports you because she loves you.
Yeah,
that's cool. All right, so I honor you for that. That's awesome. And if you hadn't done that, I wouldn't know Dave. And he's one of my favorite people in our whole industry because most of them suck really bad. Except Chris Barrett and Trey. You guys are cool. Brett Voorhees, I like him. Ron Dan. We have a few friends now, Thomas. We got a few. There's some cool people in the industry now. But you know who they all are? Cause kind of like Thomas. You were not in the industry. You just came in because of this thing, and you created this whole phenomenon, Silencer Shop. I mean, to me, people can give credit to Advanced Armament or Silencer Co. or whatever, but I give it to Silencer Shop. when I go to Texas to hang out with a buddy and we go to some ranch and it's some 65-year-old guy and he's got a 243 Winchester in his truck, but it's got a silencer on it, that's because of Silencer Shop.
Yeah, I'm glad I had.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love it. And thanks for all the money for college.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. So you start this, and so you work for a year and a half.
Yep.
At this day job, grinding it out because you love your wife and you got these little punk ass kids.
That's right.
And so then what's the point where you're like, you know what? I should probably devote full time to this. I mean, it's probably because your wife's brilliant. She's like, hey, it's turning into a thing.
And we actually had it at the end. We had 2,000 silencers in our house. They were under everything. We had them under the bed. We had them in the closets. They were like falling behind stuff. We couldn't find them. It was the biggest mess.
Those ATF audits have to be fun.
Yes. We had an audit when we moved to our first building. And I tell you what, what a mess. Having a vault was a big upgrade. Right.
Everything stays in this room.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. So, okay. So you do that. So how long, when did you start Silencer Shop?
That was 2010.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's like the last year or so I was at AAC.
Yep. There was some overlap there.
Yeah.
From Maine. We launched it in Maine. What? We were on vacation. We didn't expect it to go anywhere.
Tech nerds on vacation. We'll just launch it from here. So you did, and so what was the first thing you guys did? Like, why would you need Silencer Shop in 2010?
Really, my goal was not. I didn't even envision even close to what it became. I was thinking help people with transfers in the local area, kind of simplify the process.
So that's what you wanted to do because your two dealers were
that's right.
Shit asses. All right. So because what I remember is you discovered and pushed that basically you didn't have to show up and do the 4473 in person. So from my recollection from an outsider, and please correct me, was Silencer Shop was really for Texas and Texas residents because you're there in Austin, and it's like, hey, I'll do your transfer. You don't have to come get the thing. Like, we'll send the 4473. It's like notarized or whatever. You send it back. We ship you your silencer to your house. And I'm like, that is genius.
Yeah.
I didn't even know who you were. And I was like, oh, God, that guy's awesome. That's great. Let's push ATF.
There was that, and there was the discovery, and I don't know how many people knew it before, but before 2016, you didn't even have to sign the Form 4 to buy a silencer. The customer didn't. So
I didn't know that till right now.
We did, I don't know how many tens of thousands of silencer transfers without a single customer signature on them. It was 2016 41F that changed that.
Well, why did they have the signature line on there?
It was only for individuals. Trusts and corporations didn't even have to sign. People always signed it, but it wasn't required. So
that's interesting. So who discovered this? You?
Yeah, it was kind of an accident.
Probably your wife.
Yeah, probably. I think it was my wife.
Yeah.
She was digging through the law and kind of told me how that worked.
Bored making smoothies for employees.
That's right.
She's like, let me look through this law. But it was on accident. How so?
I don't even remember the details. It was.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, so what's been the mission from the beginning? How's it changed? What's your mission now with Silencer Shop? Like, what is Silencer Shop? And those ridiculous I just did my fingerprints for the first time. And, because I'm transferring some stuff to me for the first time in several years. I don't know the last time I did an individual transfer, but I'm doing it now. And did the fingerprints actually at CanCon.
Okay.
And so the little guy there, I liked him. He was a smart ass. He was funny. I don't know his name. I don't remember. I've never seen him before. But he helped me with. He's doing like 3 things at once. He was on fire. And, I'm too dumb to understand some of the prompts. He's like, roll your finger. What are you doing? It says roll your finger. I was like, ah. But anyway, so that was pretty cool. I did that. Oh, that's way easier than going to the police department and dealing with, or the sheriff's department and dealing with the fingerprint squad there.
Yep, that's right. And once we get your fingerprints, they're on file. You only have to do it once. So then you buy as many silencers as you want.
All right.
You're good.
So let's go back. I rambled a bunch. But what was the original mission for you? And how did it evolve? What is it now? And what are you guys doing? And then where do you see it going?
Originally, and from the very beginning, we said silencer ownership simplified. And that was the goal. Let's simplify the paperwork. Let's simplify the process. Yeah. It's not hard.
Because I think that's great because they make it super intimidating for dealers, for dealers, for individuals, and it seems intentional.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff, and I feel like over time they keep adding new rules, and it's somewhat of a changing regulatory environment constantly, right? Dealers have to keep up with this stuff.
Yeah.
Customers are a little intimidated, but the reality is the hardest part about buying has always been the wait. It's not the process.
Yeah.
The wait sucks.
The wait sucks. And I can say when I fell in love with silencers and I started pushing it, most dealers didn't even know they were illegal. And they were the biggest hindrance to it. And then it was the process. Then people would live in areas where the police chief or the sheriff wouldn't want to sign forms, and so there was a lot of education. And I think early on, that's a lot of what my old company, Advanced Armament, did, was we really push silencers being practical. You should own them, and here's the way to do it. But
yeah, you guys push the silencers are legal, right? It's like you can buy one. These are okay. They're not illegal. You made a lot of ground in that.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good to hear. It'll go in my memoirs. Quote Dave Matheny.
There you go.
Yeah. And so, all right. So what'd you do to make it easier initially?
Initially it was, I remember we had these black packets, postage paid, return shipping. We mail it to your house. It was all that stuff, right?
I recall that.
It's just doing the paperwork, and a lot of, just because I was working a job and doing Silencer Shop, a lot of the original tech stuff in Silencer Shop was to make my life easier because I couldn't do both, right?
It's interesting you say that because I relate you to like my nerds at work, Ethan and Nick and the real smart guys. And when I had them, when we started Q, so as a rifle company, where my old company was a silencer company, obviously, but I wanted to do rifles, small arms, whatever it led to, but also silencers. When I had them build the first 3,000 fixed rifles, and they had to do quality control the parts, they had to build the guns, then they had to shoot the guns for accuracy. They had to do everything. But what they did was to make their lives easier, they make the manufacturing process or the assembly process easier because they build all the fixtures and everything.
Right.
So to me, now like our assembly personnel, they really benefit from the engineers, the nerds doing the stuff for the first 3 years because they're so lazy. They want to make their lives easier, so they will design the fixtures to do all the sub-assemblies and put the guns together where they're consistent.
Yeah.
And so, I see a correlation there.
It's funny because you get an engineer, let's say you have, like for us shipping, right? You have one of our programmers sit down and ship for a day, and they'll come out of it and write all kinds of code to make shipping easier. Whereas the shipping people, that's just how it works, right? There's a different mentality, right?
Yeah.
So it's we've always kind of benefited that from having the engineering in-house. Same with you, right?
Yeah, because I think about it even now as we're pushing, because we bit off a lot when we started Q because I was, my story, but I was in December, like Christmas Eve, 2011, was thrown out of Advanced Armament. And then I was in a lawsuit with Remington for all the money they owed me for 3 years. And I went through all that. And then, that was a lot. And, it was a lot of personal stuff and then, my career stuff. And then I didn't want to work full time again. So I went to SIG and I was part-time. And we started, it was just talk about corporate and growing and just a bunch of bullshit. We decided to start our own company, Q, and we decided we wanted to do guns and we wanted to do things we wanted to do. But I didn't understand how complex going from silencers to guns. Oh my God.
And moving parts.
Oh, and where a silencer has like 4 parts.
Yeah.
And it's like, I could teach, any of my children to run a silencer company, big whoop. But guns are very complex. And so it put silencers on the back burner. And now here we are again. So we've got, we've got a foundation for our firearms. So we're almost 7 years in. We're successful. All that's going good. And now I'm focused back on silencers, which is kind of why you're here, what we're going to talk about. But I'm so ready to take over silencers, and it's so simple to me compared to the guns. Like the guns, I mean, we were lucky to survive the first 3 years. Like I was just so ignorant to what it would take to the money and the commitment that it took to develop, like to fix an entirely new firearm. Like there's a reason big companies don't do it.
Yeah.
And, we were just so bitter and sick of working at a big corporate place that we were going to survive and win no matter what. But I don't think we could do the fix. Now we're kind of fat and happy and comfortable. I don't think we could do it now.
You came in at a bad time, too. You came in right, like post 41F, HPA, Trump slump, all that stuff hit you guys right at the beginning.
All the stuff. But I like those hard times because, like I'm not the toughest dude in the world, but I think I'm, probably tougher than a lot of people and companies. And like, I don't want to lose. Like I'm competitive. And, so we survived that stuff. And now I'm turning my focus to silencers. So like I try to counsel with you or your group a lot because now like I want to take over and I want to take Dead Air's business and I want to take Silencer Co.'s business and these companies that have and I think in a large part have gotten to, they've ridden the wave of AAC and then Silencer Shop promoting and selling stuff. And I want to take that back. And, so now we're finally in a space where I can commit to silencers and I want to change it. And I want, just like I did, I think with Advanced Armament, be like the premier silencer company again. Like, I mean, like, okay, Dave, who's the shittiest silencer company there is?
No comment.
But but I think everybody knows like Silencer Co. I was thrown out, and they were in a perfect spot to like promote and take all that business and do all these things. They did a great job at educating people, and they did a great job in a lot of things, just not engineering and design. And then Dead Air comes on, and Dead Air is really good at doing really similar stuff and producing it. And I saw, like I just saw last night actually, because I guess now, people don't realize because some of the stuff I promoted is like Dead Air. They don't have a mechanical engineer. They design some stuff, and then they have someone else make all their stuff in, 1,500, 2,000 miles away. They never see it. They ship it, and they've been able to produce a lot of stuff. But now that company's making their own silencers. They're making other companies' silencers. And now I see Dead Air is like buying a building. Looks like they're going to try to do everything in-house. Perfect time for me to kind of swoop in and us focus on silencers for a couple years and really take a lot of that market share. And we're in a space to do it. And so I'm excited. So, yeah, what do you think about that?
I feel like I can't say anything about this. I'm just going to remain quiet.
Yeah. Come on. You can call someone out. No one will hear this.
That's right. Yeah. No, not at all.
Okay. So you're doing that. And then so you stop working your day job. And what happened to where you decided to stop working that?
It just got too big. Silencer Shop, we were, we crossed into a point where we couldn't do it from the house anymore. And then I just sort of had to commit. By that time, Hallie was on board because we were, doing actually pretty well.
Yeah.
Right. And we were a
she
large
wanted
dealer.
Everyone out of her house.
That's right. That's right. So I think we moved out of the house right about the time we were doing, she was $300,000 or $400,000 a month at Silencer Shop.
Oh, wow.
But I was still working 2 jobs up to that point. It was, my life was falling apart. Right.
How so?
Just as far as like time, I was working all the time. I was missing time with the kids. The whole.
So at that point you had 3 kids?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. And they were getting to be, mid-teenage years. And it's, if I were to go back and change one thing about it all, and I'm not even sure I could change this, but my oldest daughter, she got caught right in that period where her last year home, I literally was not home at all. Right. I basically missed her last year at home because Silencer Shop and everything was just so crazy. And it's calmed down now. And now we've got people who do the work, which is awesome. But I wish I could go back and kind of recapture that 1 year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough. It's weird. I tell my kids all the time, like, you're a kid for this much time, and then you're going to be an adult for this much time.
Right.
And that's the way I viewed their childhood is, the this time where they've been children, and now my kids are turning into adults, it's very valuable because, they've changed so much in these years, and it's so critical. But
That's
then,
right.
For the next 40 years, you guys are going to be kind of who you are. Like,
That's right. And you want them to go out and be independent and be on their own, but you also kind of don't want to miss those last years of they're not independent, right?
Yeah, no, it's horrible. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah. Like, they're going to look the same now from now on pretty much. And,
Yeah.
they're becoming adults. They're tortured just like we are.
That's right.
We have all the adult problems.
That's right.
Okay, so you decide to do that. And so then what's the next thing you do with Silencer Shop?
At first, Silencer Shop, probably for the first, I'd say 3 or 4 years, it was just growth mode. We were a huge dealer.
So you're so you're a dealer at this point. You're
That's
transferring all of them.
That's
All
right.
So what percentage of the silencers are you guys at that point transferring or dealing with?
I don't actually know. We were big. We were doing just in silencer sales well over $1 million a month by,
Ooh.
2013, 2014.
So that's got to be, what is that? Probably like a third or something. I don't know.
That's kind of where we estimated it to be,
yeah.
but I wasn't, at that time, I wasn't looking at the reports from ATF.
Well, how did you get that much growth? Like, how are you a dealer for a third? What did you do that allowed you to take on that much?
It was basically, other companies tried doing what we were doing, but we automated everything, right? So we could, I guess you'd call it my way of approaching problems was to solve the actual problems we could with technology, and then have our employees be on the phone with customers and doing customer support.
So it's your background. So you're writing codes, you're doing that sort of tech development stuff,
Yeah.
and that's just the way. So you're thinking from that mindset, like this is all like a technology problem,
Yep.
because that's what you know and you're good at.
That's right. So we solved it as a technology problem.
It's
and then
different than our industry, I tell you.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
And it let us scale to a point that other companies previously hadn't been able to, right? And then in 2016, we were perfectly positioned. Now in 2015, we switched to be a distributor, right?
Yeah.
We started the Powered by Silencer Shop. All that stuff kind of got going in 2015. And then in 2016, 41F was announced published in January and went into effect in June. And in January, I thought, this is going to change the way people buy silencers. And my fear was it was going to put us out of business, right?
Why so?
Because with 41F, where every single person you now have to sign, everybody has to sign, everybody has to get fingerprints, everybody has to get photos, it kind of takes away this, I'm just going to buy it online and get it mailed to my house. Because the mailing to your house, what people don't realize, there's a several week overhead involved in that mailing process. It's not just it gets approved and it gets mailed, right? It gets approved. You have to fill out a Form 4473 remotely. You have to notify the chief law enforcement officer where they live. The post office has to do their job and return those stupid green cards. And if they don't, you have to start the whole thing over again, right? So there's this whole process involved. We stopped doing that, and and I thought with 41F, with all this overhead that's being added to it, people are going to just start going to their dealer. And I was thinking this is going to shrink the market in a big way, because online sales are a big part of our industry.
Yeah.
Right. But then that's when we kind of had the idea of the kiosk and setting up a kiosk network.
Yeah, the kiosk.
Yeah. And it turned out to be a big...
What a bold move. That to me is the first time I said, like, Dave Matheny is the most innovative person in our industry.
It was
the kiosk.
It was a lot of work. I spent 8 solid months, no days off, and I was working like crazy hours.
Is that true?
There was one time I went into work on a Friday morning, came home on Monday for about 6 hours of sleep, and then went back to work. Yeah. Yeah.
That's when I was a kid, too. I'd sleep at the office a lot. I'd unzip the gun cases, lay them all out, make me a little bed, sleep for a few hours. That's true.
Yeah, that was crazy. We got that kiosk network up and running, though, and the first 300 of them we gave away.
Well, yeah, I remember when you were giving them away
Yeah.
just to get people in there. I mean, that's just a brilliant move. It's like the whole crack epidemic. Like you give the crack away to get them addicted. Same thing.
That's right.
So what was the what the kiosk do originally?
The kiosk, the point of the kiosk was and the kiosk itself is what everybody focuses on, and that's where we kind of gather the information from the customer.
Yeah.
But it's the back end system that makes it all work, right? The reviewing paperwork, making sure stuff's right, getting it submitted. So the kiosk is basically data collection, but it really is the back end system that ties it all together that makes it awesome.
Well, when you launched the kiosk, like what did it do? People went in, they did what? Because fingerprints weren't involved originally.
That's when they started. When we did the kiosk, fingerprints were part of that from the
original
very beginning.
kiosk.
That's right.
Okay.
And
so people could do their fingerprints. They have to go to law enforcement. And what'd you do? Did you have to submit? You submitted that to FBI or whoever?
Yeah, we had 3 printers that we actually sent to FBI to get certified to print fingerprint cards.
Yeah.
It was a pretty intensive process. A lot of software, a lot of thinking through how this is going to work, and honestly, a lot of money.
If you didn't have your background, would you have been able to accomplish that with FBI?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think we could have pulled that off.
Yeah, you have to be as technical as their nerds.
Yeah. And the hardest part, as far as like with ATF, people always assume, the fingerprints had to be the biggest hurdle.
Yeah, I would have thought.
The biggest part was actually getting ATF to accept digital signatures. So we spent, 9 or 10 months negotiating with ATF on a digital signature.
Well, what was their problem and how'd you accomplish it?
It was a lot of trips to DC, a lot of talking to ATF. They finally came around on, okay, this is acceptable, this will work. And then, once we got it going, everybody else kind of followed in on our coattails, right? But we put a lot of work into that signature stuff. And I think
I
ATF,
would have thought the fingerprints were the hardest part by far.
It was the signatures. That's where
because it's so funny. Me being a dumbass, it took me like 20 minutes to do all my fingerprints and get them correct. Where it said, good finger. My signatures just like at the gas station, like
right.
Done.
No, it's getting ATF to accept those signatures.
ATF, they're so difficult. God, ATF's like the ex-wife of regulatory.
I just don't think they understood it, right? And they'd always had that instruction of original ink signature. I think that's actually still on the form. You still have to have a variance to use the digital signature. It's although everybody has the variance now, right? But yeah, it was a process.
Well, how's the kiosk evolved? And so you put out 300 originally. You gave them away. How many are out there now?
Right now, last I looked, we have over 2,000. I'm not sure by how many.
Okay.
So
2,000, and so now people have to pay for them because it's cost you millions. I assume
it's millions. Yeah, and really, we only charge the dealers what we pay for them.
Yeah.
For us, we don't make money selling kiosks.
Yeah.
We make money selling silencers and doing paperwork.
So is your goal to do you still inventory a shitload of silencers? You guys are still a big distributor.
We do. We inventory a lot of silencers. By the last year's ATF numbers, we sold half of the silencers in the United States.
I was going to ask because I know like 5 years ago you were half the silencers sold. So it's still about that.
It's about half. That's been the number where we've grown. We've stuck at about half on sales, and we've been growing our submission piece, right? So then the percentage,
which is what you want.
That's right.
And so someone used the kiosk. Like, how much money does the silencer shop get? There's a charge, I guess?
Yeah, it's not a charge to the customer, though. It's a charge to the dealer, right? And it varies depending on what level they're at and how many silencers they sell. So it's somewhat of a sliding scale.
So your goal is to be the transfer IRS.
Pretty much. We want to be TurboTax, essentially.
Yeah, so basically anytime a silencer moves, you want to get a $20 or $50 bill.
Yep. Yeah, that's
brilliant.
And we're even getting into Form 2s, Form 3s. I mean, it's really...
Form 1s?
Form 1s. We're launching our Form 1 service. In fact, we're currently betaing our new Form 1 service that should go live to customers within the next few weeks.
Okay, so a Form 1 is where an individual can build a silencer SBR and register it on their own. And
that's right.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let me look at my text in case it's, some hottie. But what...
I'm sure it is.
Absolutely.
Who else would it be?
My attorney, most likely. What? Also a hottie. What? What'd you say? What did you say? Thomas? Asshole.
Like I said, in January through about March, we did in that period we submitted 106,000 Form 4s, and it was
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was crazy, and the lines blew up, and we were getting hammered online because nobody could get through. Emails were delayed by 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, it was really, it was a rough quarter just because we were severely, like we were hit hard with the number of silencers. It was a crazy quarter. Things have stabilized now. We've adapted to it, but it's stabilized at a much higher number than it was before, right, last year. People were super excited about e-forms.
E-forms. So where does it stand now with e-forms?
You know, I think
it was really fast. Now I feel like we're proper fucked.
Yeah, it's the times have gone up, and I was just at ATF. Sheesh, I'm going to say 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, something like that. It might have been longer. I don't remember, but it's they said basically wait times are now up to 7 months. They're focused on paper. They're approving way less than they were. 10,000 a week earlier in the year. Now we're getting about, call it 2,500 a week, 3,000 a week, something like that. So the numbers and the wait times are creeping up because we're submitting way more than we're getting approved. Now ATF is focused on paper. According to them, they'll be focused on paper through November, and then they'll switch back to e-forms. So if they can go back to a 10,000 a week, those wait times will drop down very quickly, right? And that's what I'm hoping happens because we now have the brace ruling kind of on the horizon, right?
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I think that brace ruling is not good for anybody. I think it's going to be a mess.
In what regard?
I think you look at ATF, and let's talk tax paid transfers. That's a combination of Form 1s and Form 4s.
Yeah.
The biggest year they've ever had, and I'm going from memory a little bit here, but this is rough numbers. They've gotten roughly 350,000 tax paid transfers in their biggest year ever, right? They're estimating the number of these braces on the market. Nobody really knows the number. I've heard everything from 4 million to 40 million in circulation.
Yeah.
So now that they want everybody that owns one of those to come register it, or they're a felon, and they're thinking they're gonna let's say it's 1 million. If they do 1 million Form 1s on these braces in a whatever month period, that's 3 times more than the largest year they've ever had for tax paid. So starting in April, assuming they publish this in December, starting in April, wait times are really it will not be good for wait times. Let me just say.
So all that means to me is that people won't do it. So they're going to make 4 to 40 million people felons.
I really believe that a lot of people who own these braces don't even know they've got them. Right. So you're right. They're making them into felons.
Well, we talked about, too, the ridiculous thing is arbitrary barrel length. In most countries of the world, like you have a rifle caliber gun, that's a process. There is no barrel length restriction because if I have if I have a Honey Badger pistol with a 7-inch barrel and I have a Honey Badger SBR with a 7-inch barrel, there is no technical difference in the firearm other than one you can strap on your arm, the other you can't, both you can hold to your shoulder. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I completely agree.
I mean, it's regulatory in the government setting people up to be able to tack on felonies when they catch them with, or charge them with something else.
That's right. And for the most part, these are law-abiding people who are trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, because why would you buy an arm brace gun if you're a criminal? You would just build an SBR, because you don't care about the law.
Right. But I think that on the braces, I really think a lot of people bought them just because that's what they had at Cabela's. Right. I don't even think they know they've got one.
Probably half the people that own them don't know that there's a barrel length restriction.
That's right. Because it's so arbitrary. Right. 16 inches.
Yeah, but 15 inches, you go to jail for 10 years.
That's
and
right.
Pay a $250,000 fine.
I feel more dangerous with a 15-inch gun. Personally, I cross that line of like, oh crap, I don't know. This is a little scary.
I know. Yeah, it's a little. I strut a little more.
16,
more confidence.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe I should rob a bank. I don't know why, but jeez, idiots. Yeah, I mean, it's such. I mean, it's the government funding an agency and creating an issue when there's not really a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, basically what should happen is, you know what? There is no barrel length restriction anymore. Like, you own a gun legally, you do a 4473, you own the gun. You commit a crime with a gun, we're going to punish you harshly. An offensive crime.
Yeah. Gun laws are sort of stupid because everything you would do illegally with a gun is already illegal. So you already have something.
Yeah. So let's have some redundancy so
Yeah, that's
we can
right.
screw honest people.
It's like, okay, if you commit this crime with a knife, 3 months in jail. If you commit it with a gun, 6 months in jail. But you still committed the same crime, right? It's like it seems odd to me.
Yeah, maybe I should get in the knife business.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I don't.
As long as you use safe knives with longer blade. Oh no, with knives it's the other way around.
It's a short
blades are
oh
safer.
Yeah, short blades.
That's
are
right.
Safer. Yeah, because you can conceal them, but
that's right. You can't really reach out there with them.
Asinine. Like with the silencer. Okay, your car, it's illegal if it doesn't have a muffler. Your lawnmower, can't sell those without mufflers. Everything that makes a lot of noise, the government mandates you have a muffler. Oh, firearms. Oh, no, those should be loud.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, noise pollution is okay there.
They should be loud, say the people who have never shot a gun, right? They have no idea how loud they really are.
Oh yeah, because at this point, it's actually the ATF is so when they don't like someone, they can charge them with something and take their rights and put them in prison. Yeah, because I don't know. Because otherwise, you're right. Every other thing you would do with a gun is illegal anyway.
Yeah.
So if you did that crime, you would actually be charged. So we don't actually need the ATF involved.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff, it's redundant. It's dumb. It's people want something to be done. And it's
the overreaction in society.
Yeah.
Oh, this happened. We have to make new laws. Oh, yeah. Well, those laws don't go away. Then we build these regulatory agencies so they circumvent a lot of the legal process and they have no repercussions or accountability. And they never go away like TSA. I got my man checking my junk. And just like, get after it, dude. Too bad for you. But, oh, yeah, you're saving lots of people. Yeah, totally have the old underwear bomb strapped in there.
That's right.
Please find it. Be vigorous. Yeah, quality of life. They're taking it from us.
That's right.
All right. So, silencer shop. You guys just moved. You moved.
Yep.
You moved. Are you still in Austin proper, or you moved completely out of there?
We have 2 buildings right now. We've got one that's still in Austin, and it's the regular location people have always gone to. We've got a new location in Leander, just north of Austin.
Yeah.
So it's a way better setup for us.
Because of the politics of the city, or what?
Yeah,
the building.
The city mostly gets involved in our politics whenever we expand. We've moved and expanded like 5 times within Austin.
Yeah,
but but really, I'm really talking more about the space, right? The space that we have available. It lets us improve our shipping processes. A lot of processes that were hindered by space, right? Yeah. We bought this 2 years ago, though, and we thought, man, we'll never outgrow this, and we already sort of are. I'm like, oh, crap.
Same thing we did. We moved into a space 3 times bigger, and we didn't even unpack before I got another building.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, yeah. So we were shoehorned, like you guys, into this one space where there's silencers all under the bed and the couch and all the stuff, and it's like you get a proper space. You're like, yeah, we're still too big for this.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do? Are you going to stay in this one space, or are you going to have multiple, or what are you going to do now?
Our plan is really to start working on a new building almost immediately. So, and the hope is to keep it in the same immediate vicinity, almost to create kind of a campus, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you tech nerds, that's what y'all would call it.
That's right, of course.
Well, what
free lunches. Just
yeah, I know. Sleeping pods. What are you gonna do though? Like, what's the future? Where do you guys go from here? What are you launching? Like, what's new? You did the kiosk. You've done these things. Like, what's the next thing that justifies more growth?
I think right now, we're as far as the silencer shop side goes, we're really focused on. We've been just cranking out new software to make this simpler. And even with eForms, simplify the certification process. We're coming out with a new system for that. We're revamping the whole kiosk setup sometime next year.
Yeah.
We're redoing a lot of the underlying software that we use to run Silencer Shop. Mm-hmm. And then, outside of Silencer Shop, we're actually starting a hearing aid company.
I know. You laughed and said it was totally unrelated. I was like, bullshit. It makes perfect sense.
Oh, that's right.
Me doing alcohol and firearms makes sense.
That's right.
You doing hearing aids and silencers makes sense.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's today. You guys are launching that.
Should launch this afternoon. Overhearing.com. Check it out.
What is it again?
Overhearing.com.
Overhearing.
That's right.
Why'd you pick that name?
You know,
'Cause
I tell
the
you,
website was available.
Yes, back in the old days, and when I say old days, I mean like last year. You could go
Because
buy.
I think we're like the same age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time we'd do anything, we'd go just buy the domain. It was available. It's like $8 to buy a domain.
Yeah.
And I tell you, somebody went and registered every domain name possible. And so now you go buy these domains and they're no longer $8. They're like $5,000, right?
Yeah.
Or $20,000.
Yeah, about once a year, I have somebody contact me wanting to sell me one for like $50,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, nah.
Every time I sit around drinking, we buy domains. Just a few weeks ago.
You're not even drinking.
I know.
Just drink and we'll buy some domains.
I got to keep the microphone close. It's like I'm trying to focus on my microphone etiquette.
We can pause for alcohol etiquette.
Is that what it
Like
is?
that's very good alcohol, and I feel
Yeah,
like you're
that's
wasting
right,
it.
that's
Let's just
right.
take a moment for you to
Okay.
drink some. I'm done with mine. Because, I'm a pirate.
You do whatever makes you comfortable, all right? Don't let this guy have.
Bullshit.
Okay.
This is designed to get people in an uncomfort zone.
I don't know. It's a little bit watery.
Jesus Christ. All right.
Just kidding.
Hand it over here.
I'm good. I'm good.
What a stuck-up prom queen.
So a couple.
Who would have thought? Dave Matheny, most beautiful girl I know. Jesus Christ, man. All right.
A few weeks ago, we were bear hunting in Maine, and we were sitting around the fire trying to think of domain names for the hearing aid stuff. And we were buying
Did you
stuff
check
like
huh.com?
We were buying like my hearing has AIDS and stuff like that. Right? I actually ended up
My
buying.
hearing has AIDS.
I'm now the proud owner of that.
Like I said, Dave Matheny, one of my favorite people in the industry.
But the crazy one that was available. So TikTok, right?
Never heard of it. Tell me about
Yeah,
all those girls
really?
dancing.
Yeah. We bought Dick Doc. And so the next day I look at it and I'm like, whoa.
Too much alcohol. This is the story of Kevin's life. That's how you wake up with a pirate narwhal tattoo. Oh, my God.
So if anybody wants to buy it, I've got it for $50,000.
Dick Doc?
That's right.
I'll give you $500 for it.
$500.
Yeah, you'll take it?
No, I'm holding out for more.
I would have bought it. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure I have $500 in my pocket. Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember when we went to the club. But I think I have it. Dick Doc.
That's right.
So you came up with the domain name because these idiots were sauced. So how was overhearing? Like, what?
And that was Tyler's when he wasn't.
He's such a responsible little
Seriously?
lad. Oh, Tyler, shout out to you.
That's right. Yeah,
Jesus.
Tyler's awesome, actually.
He is great. Fucking great. Yeah. Okay, so what are you going to do on here? You're selling hearing aids. So the FDA now allows hearing aids to be sold because it was pretty much scam business when you had to go see a doctor. They charge you $20,000 for them.
Yep, and I forget the term for them. They don't allow them to be called hearing aids, but they're essentially that for moderate hearing loss. Right. They cost 1/10 of the price. You get them shipped right to your house next day. I mean, it's really, and there's some really good brands coming into this. It should be pretty awesome. I'm kind of excited about it.
I bet you are because, I mean, I know you like me. It's like we hunt and we shoot and hearing's not what it was. And
Yep.
I imagine in 15, 20 years, I hope it's that long, maybe 10, going to need some assistance. This is cool.
Are they
Yep.
aesthetically pleasing to
Yep.
the eye, or are they?
They've got them all styles.
You wear a hoodie with a beanie. No one's seen your ears
so-
since 7th grade, you
so the reason
freaking goth.
The reason I asked
chick.
is I've been playing live music for like 15 years, and probably in the next 10 or so, I'm gonna lose my hearing, and I'm like, I'll have to get a hearing aid. Sure.
Can we play a song by
No,
Thomas?
stop, dude.
Yes.
I'm just saying. My whole thing is,
You can't.
I don't want to
delete
wear
this.
a hearing aid that looks like, like 1980s grandpa hearing aid. So like,
Right.
I'm hoping that there's hearing aids coming out that are like kind of cool looking. Like
You
you
know-
kind of want to wear them.
And I think this is going to push a lot of what you can do with the industry. I think you'll have them, they'll disappear in the air. I think within a couple of years, you're going to have stuff that connects to your TV, connects to your phone, tracks your heart rate all day long. I think these are going to be like the ultimate wearable technology.
And is this something that you're looking at, all these like types of things?
And we're only going to be selling them. We're not making them. So
Silencer Shop 2.0.
that's right. Yeah, we're excited. I think this should be pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool. Like, I see the connection. I think you have an entire industry as a customer already. Like, I mean, I've used silencers my entire adult life. But, if we're using a Yankee Hill or, I don't know, a Silencer Co., like, I probably should have been wearing those earplugs too.
There you go.
Or Surefire. Yeah, so I'm probably, in all that testing of all those loud silencers, I'm going to need some hearing aids. So I'm excited about this. I think it makes sense.
Yep.
Dave, you're an innovator, scholar. He's brilliant.
Yep.
Probably you owe it all to your wife because you're probably actually an idiot. Give her all the credit.
That's right. Yeah.
Is that right? He's a smart guy.
He is smart.
So you fell in love with Dave because he's funny, and I absolutely do not disagree. So we're smart on this scale. Like, we got number one's funny. So we have this
He was big hands.
big hands. Because that means...
It means
Whoa.
I've got big feet.
Whoa. All right. Big hands, big feet. And then, so smart's actually way down there, like number 5 or 6.
I would say he's just a good guy.
He's a good guy. All right. That's before smart. So you're...
He's smart.
He has those 6.
I feel like I forced it. I think it's
You,
like
you did. You
number
forced
8.
it. Yeah, it's like...
He was young when I married him.
I was young, but I'm devoted.
Were you 22? But we were young. I don't think I realized how smart he was.
So basically, if you met him now, you wouldn't marry him.
I would marry him now.
Oh, that's
See?
pretty awesome. What about you? Did you marry her?
I married her for looks.
My man. Dave is no dumbass. That is the best thing you could have said. Oh, my God. Whew. Yeah. Never been that slick, Dave. Yeah. Well, you guys did well. All right. So we're going to find some land out there in Texas, and we're going to buy it and build some barndominiums on it.
That's right.
So you've been hunting. So recently,
I've spent like the better part of the last 6 weeks hunting.
when are you going to stop being a cheap motherfucker and let's go to Africa and hunt and kill stuff?
Man, I'm going to go to Africa next summer. That's
Next summer. I'll be there 4 times before then.
Yeah, I'm just so busy. I got to
You
wait
gotta
till I get it on the
delegate.
schedule.
You got to delegate. Let's go before that, man. But you just shot a bear with 8.6.
Yep, 2.
So what drew you to 8.6?
Man, I tell you, it was you. it really was. You guys kind of sold it. The 1 and 3 twist. I figured, okay, let's give it a try. And man, let me tell you.
And you're like, Kevin's full of shit.
At first, there's so many calibers. Man, I don't mean to, but it's
Say whatever you want. I don't care.
I was not convinced at first. But let me tell you, after seeing the thing in action, it is just unbelievable, the wound channel from that 8.6 on a bear. 420. We've shot a 420-pound bear and a 120-pound bear.
You
with the
shot both
8.6.
of them?
I shot one of them. I'm not going to say which one. The 120-pound.
So you need a hearing aid and glasses.
That's right.
But so you shoot this. I mean, a 420-pound bear is no joke.
Yeah.
I've never shot a bear 75% that size. So you shoot that in the wound. So what was the shot? The shot, what happens? What do you see?
Really, the 420-pound bear was treed, shot it once. It basically fell to the ground dead. I thought I shot a 320-pound bear last year with a 45-70. Mm-hmm. I had to shoot the thing twice before it even fell out of the tree. It's
with a 45-70.
Yes.
Tell me more. So this 8.6, what was the barrel length?
It was a 12-inch barrel. So I was running right about 2,000 feet per second. In case you want to know the details. But
so a Barnes bullet?
No, it was a CX bullet from Hornady.
Okay, so a solid copper from Hornady.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
185 grain or so. That's a good round. I've used it.
Yeah. No, it worked great.
So what'd the wound look like?
The exit wound on that thing looked like somebody had shot a cannonball through it. I mean, it was unreal for that velocity and that size bullet. It was far more devastating than the 45-70. I mean, truly.
So when do I get a letter of recommendation or an apology?
Yeah. Let me work on that as soon as we're done here. Hallie, will you do
Hallie,
that for
come
me?
on, he does. Could at least get a smoothie. God damn it. I mean, don't let him out of this. Like, he was doubting me, and
That's
now
right.
look at this.
That's right.
I mean, I basically catapulted your hunting experience into, something that lighter weight gun, more enjoyable, more lethal.
Seriously, it was way more fun to carry that through the woods than the
Isn't it?
4572.
Because,
Way
you're
more.
like fucking 6'8". You're a giant human being.
Yeah, that's right.
And still, like, carrying a 5-pound gun, and it's small, it's so great.
Yeah, and man, it was awesome. I took that same gun the next week moose hunting.
Uh-huh.
But did not actually ever get a shot on a moose.
Why
so
didn't you
get to
shoot a
see.
moose?
Just the weather was too warm. Never really had the opportunity. It sort of sucked. I think I told you last night.
Were you in Maine?
In Maine also. On the way to the airport from that hunt, I hit one with the rental car. It's like, and even as it's happening, I'm
Was it a bull?
It was not. It was a cow. Yeah.
Oh.
I was thinking the irony as I'm making eye contact with this moose coming in from the left. It was like, it was pretty freaky for a second.
Thomas, you get this? He went on a moose hunt for like a week or whatever. Doesn't shoot a moose. On the way back to the airport, kills one with a car.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I used to have no interest, but now living up here, like, I want to shoot a moose, but I'll probably go to Alaska. Maybe we should do an Alaskan hunt. You know what we should do? If the hearing aid thing grows and Q continues to grow, I want so the previous podcast before you was Don Jr., so Don Trump Jr., and he went on one of these, he auctioned his time or whatever to go with someone who bought a hunt, and he went to Alaska on one of these yacht hunts where you have a chef and you have all this stuff, a masseuse.
That sounds awesome.
I know, right? And he's like, it's incredible. Because I was thinking it was dumb. And so he was here, and I don't know if it's on the podcast or not. He might have been talking about it off air. But he was like, oh my God, Kevin, you have to go on this hunt. He's like, I know you, man. This thing is like great. Like, we do this thing. We wake up, you can get a massage, you go hunt, you come back, they cook for you, you have chefs, you're on the boat, you have this great room, like you're not sleeping in a tent. Because he's not like a real prima donna, which most people would think. Like, he sleeps in tents, and he's pretty hardcore. And I'm like, yeah, Don, like, he'll invite me on hunts. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going on that one. But this one, he said we need to do. So maybe we should go, because I want, like, we have moose in Maine and here in New Hampshire and whatever, Vermont. Very small compared to, Yukon moose. And maybe we should go on a hunt in Alaska, and we'll shoot a brown bear, we shoot a moose, blacktail. Like, let's just get after it.
Man, I'd be all in on that. And don't forget, you're committed to 24 on an elk hunt too. So
we're going to go there. The
Montana.
Montana by Yellowstone. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Oh, I need to pay you today. Okay. I'll do that when we get to the office. So what's your favorite silencer? I know it starts with Q.
Yeah, let me think.
What'd you have on your 8.6? Let's have an honest. Let's be honest with people, all right? Because I think you are an honorable man. I don't think you'll lie to me. You had this 8.6. You shot a bear with it. What silencer did you have? Because I know in Maine you can have a silencer.
That's right. And they actually just changed the law like 2 years ago there to where now you don't have to get the hunting permit anymore. You can just go hunt.
I didn't even know this. That's awesome.
Yep, it just changed.
Well, Maine is kind of the Wild West. Like, Maine is a giant state. Nobody realizes it. And most of the state is there aren't even roads or road names.
The rural craziness that I've seen there, just some of the nuttiest hunting stories ever.
Well, you have the nuttiest hunting stories that I know.
Yeah.
But I think I would feel at home in Maine, because I think they're like pirates. Like, it's lawless.
Yeah, that's right.
I like it.
It's America. It's what America should be.
Should be. So you take the 8.6 and you had a fix, right?
No, the 8.6 was an AR-10.
Gun.
Yeah.
So I sent you a barrel for that.
Yeah, that's right.
And so what silencer did you have? Probably not mine. You're probably being two-time.
I was going to use yours, but it didn't come in time. So I did end up using a competitor, so I won't mention the name.
Yeah, mention the name. Go ahead. Let me talk shit.
I used that. It was that Alaskan 360 from Rugged.
Oh,
so it's
he's a sweet kid.
Yeah. I like the guys at Rugged a lot. Honestly, sorry.
So
you can edit that out.
You don't have to edit that out. I like them. They're fine. Henry's cool. Whatever. I like nerds. What? So when did ours come?
It hasn't come yet.
You still don't have one?
Nope, still don't have it. As soon as I get it, I'm going to swap that out. That's going to be my 8.6 can.
Well, I thought one had been sent to you, honestly, so that's my fault because I'm slack. So do you want a hunting silencer, or do you want the quietest thing possible?
Oh, hunting. Short and light. That's all I do.
I have one at work for you. So when you go build your gun today, we're going to get you one. And if you go on another hunt and you use someone else's silencer on 8.6,
then you'll be mad.
Fuck you, Dave.
That's
Matheny.
right.
We never talk again.
I tell you, that jumbo shrimp, I think that jumbo shrimp on a 6.5, I mean, I'm switching calibers here, but man, that silencer is eye-openingly quiet. And for as popular as the 6.5 is, it's almost unfortunate that everybody's stuck on doing the 30 cal silencers.
Well, I think that's because you guys promote these multi-caliber silencers. So I blame
I don't.
Shop.
I'm totally against it.
I know, but it is interesting that it's like the number 2 can.
Yeah.
But I agree. Like we're the engineers yesterday. We're doing an event in Texas. This PSR. Well, we talked about it earlier. PRS. Well, I don't know what it's called. Like whatever. But doing 6.5 and 22-inch barrels. We're shooting 1,000 yards jumbo shrimp. And they all came back yesterday, like singing its praises. But for me, it's always like I spent 10 years chasing sound in my career, and then you realize like it's number 10 on the priority list, like all these other things. And what I want when I hunt, because you and I, like we have companies, we shoot, but the time we cherish is probably hunting.
Yeah.
So I think you and I, we agree on that or relate there. And all I want to do is shoot and not notice the shot. And when there's adrenaline pumping and everything, I don't want to use ear pro. I just want to shoot the animal and not notice the shot. So it's like the smallest, most compact, lightweight silencer. Because most of the time you're in the vehicle, you're stalking, you're moving, you're doing the thing, you got the gun slung. I want the smallest, lightest thing possible.
That's exactly what I do. Smallest, lightest, quietest is like 5th on the priority list.
Yeah, it is. It's way down there.
I just want enough to where I don't have to worry about wearing hearing protection.
Yeah, because I want to communicate with my guide. And
enjoy the environment.
Yeah,
right?
and even when you have the electronic ear pro, which I just used in Mozambique because I was in a place where it was very remote, but the military was there, and silencers aren't legal on the Tanzanian border. They're also illegal there, and I didn't take a silencer, so I was wearing sword and earmuffs. So it's like the old rich white guy like shotgun earmuffs that are real comfortable, and they're expensive for earmuffs. They're like $350. And they have those, and they are awesome. But, I couldn't take a silencer.
Yeah.
And it sucked because I can, it amplifies other noise, but you don't get to really enjoy the experience.
Yeah, it doesn't feel natural at all.
No, it doesn't. And it's horrible. You should put the muffler on the fucking gun.
That's right.
And, because even now, it's like the State Department allows us to export silencers for commercial use. But our State Department charges me $250 per silencer that we export. And the most premium silencer in Africa is a Norwegian silencer, and I've got a bunch of them in South Africa now for my guns. $350 a piece. And it's outrageous.
That's super high in there, right?
It's like having a Ferrari. And, and I've got a dozen of them because it's like when, you or any of my other asshole friends come over, we're going to hunt, and everybody should have a silencer. Like, don't be abusing your PH, your professional hunter, your guide. Like, put a silencer on your gun. Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know if I wasn't paying attention, but did you?
Well, you should pay.
You weren't paying attention.
This is your job.
I'm paying attention to exactly everything I need to be paying attention for. I'm doing my job.
You're on your phone.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
Anyway, did you mention that you can just go into the store and buy it?
Oh yeah. So because in South Africa, silencer is just like a bipod, not regulated.
That's right. When we were there, our professional hunter had one, and according to him, he spent $10 to buy that thing and just throw it on his 30-06.
Yeah, they view it as a piece of trash.
Yeah, it was sort of a piece of crap silencer. I will admit.
All the South African silencers suck.
Yeah,
like Liberty is 100 times better than any South African silencer there is.
Nice.
Yeah, shout out. I mean,
shout out.
But yeah, there is. Ooh, every PH in South Africa has a silencer, and for me, It was so crazy because I wanted to order these Norwegian ones. And so I started looking in South Africa. They were the super high-end ones. And I was like, $350. I was like, get me a 6.5, a 338, and a 375, and a 30 cal. They're like, oh, my God, are you serious? That's like $1,500. And I was like,
Sold.
okay. So I'm an American and I ball. Like, yeah, get them for me. And so it's been like over a year process to export mine. They charge me $250 a silencer as a tax. And then they show up there and we have to go through this. Well, once they get there, it's fine. We just go get them. But it's like the silencers are $1,500. Yeah, it's stupid. But I do love that silencers aren't a thing there.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like that's how it is in most of the world. It's hard to get the guns, but they don't care about barrel length. They don't care about silencers. They kind of view things as like it's not a gun, right?
Yeah, which seems very fucking reasonable and rational.
The NFA really kind of hosed our market. You know, it was...
Yeah, I mean, that's where, like I started the ASA and then Josh Waldron took it over once I was thrown out of my company. But I wanted there to be silencers to be relocated from a firearm in the NFA to an AOW, because that's what they are.
Right.
To a $5 tax, and I wanted an instant background check, and he wanted to become, a congressman.
Yeah.
And now...
Which worked out.
I don't know. What's he, a surfer now, and he lives in a hut with a chick? I don't know.
I honestly don't know. I haven't talked to him in years.
So, Dave... So we agree on hunting. So we're going to go to Africa.
Yep, that's right.
What is there that you need to shoot there?
A kudu is what I really want to shoot. But my plan has been to go shoot a Cape buffalo and then kind of shoot whatever I can while I'm there.
I can help you with that. I'm pretty much an expert in Cape buffalo.
Yeah. A sable's another one. I think those sable are awesome.
We have a yard sable in the Eastern Cape. They're not wild. You're going to have to go to northern Mozambique, Tanzania to shoot the wild sable.
Okay.
Yeah. Down south, they're very boring. They'll stand there at the edge of the road and just look at you.
Yeah. I mean,
really?
I could slap a sable to death in the Eastern Cape. I've never shot one there because they're so boring.
Okay.
I'm just like, I like those challenging animals.
That's right.
That and roan also kind of they'll just stand there. And
Oh,
look at you.
whatever. Never seen you shoot a roan.
I've seen you. I was standing there next to you when you shot.
I know, and I went all hardcore, man. We had one coming in. And I took cover, ducked, got set up, made a shot, bam. Shot it on the run. Because Dave, I'm pretty much...
Super tactical.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Super tactical.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the ladies would say.
That's right.
What do you have, Thomas? What would you say? Go ahead, you funny motherfucker. Skinny jean wearing motherfucker. Yeah. So I think we need to go on a hunt. We'll have a great time. We'll take Ethan. Have lots of laughs. We'll shoot some stuff. But 8.6. So it's working out for you.
It is awesome, actually.
The fast twist.
Yep. It's more than I would have expected.
And
Seriously.
we're opening up the silencer industry for all these wannabes. Yeah. Thunder Beasts, you guys carry them?
We do.
CGS.
Yep.
So Silencer Shop carries all the real ones and the wannabes. So if you want to get in there.
Has Kevin talked to you at all about the new steel silencers we're working on?
Not that I don't think so.
Okay, so we've got a new line. So for 8.6, because that's always been a government project, the military requires no muzzle flash, and so we can't do titanium, so we have to do steel or something alternative. And steel has no flash. And so we're using steel for those silencers. So we developed technology for silencers, which I'm sure Dead Air, Silencer Co., CGS, all these wannabes are going to copy. But a process to do stainless steel where it's lighter than titanium. There's no muzzle flash. And we're coming out with a line of those. So I'm taking market share. Daddy's back. I mean, all these punk-ass bitches, they forgot who did. I mean, you said it yourself, like AAC.
The AC. In the day, you guys were the brand.
In the day.
Once you left, AC sort of fell apart. I think that was the line.
if a girl said some shit
That's
like that to
right.
me, Thomas.
Eyes on the prize, baby. Eyes on the prize.
Okay. So stainless steel silencers. So we're coming back with that. So we're coming with the whole line. We've got the 94 Madonna, which is the 4.6 caliber. It'll take everything. It's big and long and black. We have an Omega.
Omega.
Yeah, so that's like an Omega and a Nomad, which copied the trash panda.
Is that what you're actually going to call it?
No.
We're coming out with that. So we're coming after your ass. So we have the universal rear mount, which is stupid, but consumers want it because they're uneducated. The universal front mount, we're doing that. The 94 Madonna, the Dennis Rodman can, we're doing it's a 2-piece can modular with all the stuff. We're going to do some of the commercially popular things that are not things that you and I like, but they are popular and they sell. We're coming after that because we're coming to take market share. We're coming for your ass, all right? Daddy's home. But we are coming with engineers, technology, and performance. And we're going to take over the silencer industry. So that's what we're going to do, Dave. So we're hoping you guys are going to sell it.
We'll sell it.
All right. What do you got, Thomas?
No, that was awesome. For 8.6, pork chop, short chop.
We have the pork chop, which is a quiet silencer. We have the short chop, which is what you and I will use for hunting.
Yeah.
Then we have the tall boy, which is 110 dB, quieter than a 22, but shooting a 350 grain bullet.
Really?
Oh,
Okay.
my God.
Awesome.
So and then we got 30 cal, we got the Speakeasy and the Blind Tiger.
Yeah. Which
I
are
love
both-
your names.
Yeah, those are prohibition.
That's great.
Prohibitional thing. Prohibitional. I don't know. I've been
Prohibition.
drinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Against prohibition.
Industrial age kind of stuff.
Yeah, so we have the Speakeasy, which, during the Prohibition was a bar, and then the Blind Tiger meant a place you could go drink illegally. So we're doing those. We have the Architect, which is a modular, totally modular. Is that what you guys named the Nomad or the Nomega?
Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's trash pan and stainless steel with the universal front end cap and universal rear mount. And then what else do we have?
You said 94 Madonna.
So below that,
That's it.
no, there's one below it. What is it? Tall boy. That's the 8.6 can that's really long, but it's still shorter than like a Titan QD.
Okay.
It's 110 dB with subsonic 8.6. It's incredible.
I think that's it.
Yeah. So we have a whole line of stainless steel cans. And also with the Erector 9, we have a 3-lug mount, a cherry bomb mount, all these things coming out. So, and then POP, we have pull floats that are Honey Badger SDs. We're getting after it,
Awesome.
And so we want to be able to supply. So this is a volume thing.
I do love those Erector cans. Seriously, those
Yeah.
are awesome. Oh, yeah.
Why do you? It is widely copied, but why do you like it?
Seriously, it goes back to how I shoot everything, short and light. You throw that in a home defense gun, it still fits in your pistol safe. I use like one segment of it.
The first
Yeah,
time,
it's way quieter than nothing.
the first time I picked up the Erector 9, and I don't come from guns or silencers. I don't know shit.
No
Back
shit.
in the day, I didn't know even more. Right, so the first time I picked up an Erector 9, I almost hit myself in the face with it because I thought it'd be a lot heavier.
Is that right?
So I picked it up and I was like, oh.
If you had busted your brow open, oh my God, would I have loved it. And Thomas, you would have been more dashing with a scar.
I often think about that.
Yeah.
I often think I'd be more dashing with like a nice, like one of these.
I'll give you one.
Yeah, give me one. I feel
Like a
you're
lightning bolt scar
Yeah,
right on
yeah.
your forehead.
Yeah, Harry Potter. dude.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is, but I'll give you a scar.
All right. Well, when you and I inevitably go to fisticuffs,
Dude, you weigh what one of my leg weighs.
I'm quick, dude. You don't even know. You don't even know where I'm at.
Oh, bless your heart. All right, Dave, so good to see you, my man.
Seriously, it was great seeing you.
I feel like you're a liar, but okay.